Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Cornelia and I usually post here videos about things that interest me. And they are usually within the realm of lifestyle, how to become better, how to have a happy life. And at the same time, because I work within talent acquisition, I want to post videos that can help you guys navigate through the world of recruitment. So yeah, I'll talk a lot about how to build your CV, what to say, not to say in interviews, and at the same time, how to apply for jobs, how to respond to different interview questions, and so on. In today's video, I just wanted to speak about what you shouldn't say in an interview. And all of these things are obvious to me, but somehow they happen to me on a weekly basis. So that's why I wanted to speak about them. Maybe it can help you not doing them in an interview. Because yeah, as I said, for me they are obvious, but because I am exposed to this world of recruitment, I work within talent acquisition. Maybe they are obvious to me, but not to others. So yeah, that's why I wanted to speak a bit about them. I want to see this first because I understand that not every candidate or everyone that applies for a job takes interviews as seriously as they should be taken. An interview is an exam. You will be assessed from the moment that you submit your CV to that job application or from the moment that a recruiter will contact you. So you will be evaluated in every moment of your recruitment process, from your CV to the interviews, to the technical rounds, etc. You have to prepare for it. An interview is an exam, like all of the exams that you had in high school or the exams that you had in university. You have to prepare for it. You can't expect to show unprepared to an interview and then pass, the same way as you can't expect to show unprepared to an exam at university and pass. It's the same situation, just different context. You also have to understand that the market is very competitive. I, as a recruiter and hiring managers, have multiple choices because we have multiple candidates for the same position. Of course, we will choose the one that we think will be the best fit and the one that impresses us the most. So if you show up to an interview and not even read something about the company or say things that shouldn't be said in an interview, just because you don't know that you shouldn't say all of these things will make you fail the interview. If you really care about a job and not just applying for fun or applying just to have more experience with interviews, and then when the right job appears, you'll have more experience and you know what to say to different interview questions. If you really care about that job, please don't do the following mistakes that I'm going to tell you. So the first one, which is so obvious, but for some reason, a lot of people are doing this. Don't use inappropriate language. Don't swear. Don't use bad words. I think that you know what I'm talking about. Don't use slang words. Your language must be as professional as you can. I'm not saying that you need to have a PhD in literature to take an interview, but a minimum amount of decency of all of the things that you say or all of the words that you are using is required. If the words that you are using are banned from different platforms on social media, like YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, anything like that, you most of the time shouldn't use them. The second thing, and I see a lot of people doing this, don't say anything bad about your past employers, your past managers or colleagues. Never say anything bad about this, because if you say something bad about them, the recruiter or the hiring manager will understand the fact that if something bad will happen in the company, you will go and gossip about it. And no one wants it. Every company has their problems, etc., etc. And no one wants their business to be out there. So if you are telling bad things about your manager, about your company, even though they happened, most of the times for the interviewers, this will be a red flag. Even if these things happened, you can omit them or just sugarcoat them, right? For example, if you had a bad manager, right, and you had a lot of conflicts with them, etc. If the interviewer is asking, how was your relationship with your manager? You can sugarcoat it and say that, yeah, we had some times where they didn't support me that well, but I managed to talk with my peers and my colleagues helped me resolve all of the problems that I had, just because my manager maybe didn't have the time or they had a tight schedule, something like that. If you are straight saying that my manager was an asshole, no, this won't be a good look on you during a job interview. The third thing, don't describe, never ever in your life, in a job interview, don't describe inappropriate stories. Everyone has a threshold of what appropriate is and isn't, just to give you some guidelines, let's say. First, everything that is not politically correct, this is inappropriate. Anything that is related to pornography is not okay. Everything that is related to any type of controversial subject is not okay. Scandals or situations where you were the main problems or situations where you have legal problems are not okay. If you are asked any of these things, try to find a story within your life that is appropriate to say in a job interview. I can give you certain examples of what people said because the interviews are confidential, but I heard so many stories, inappropriate stories that were told during a job interview. And when I heard them, I was thinking to myself, okay, this candidate won't be a good fit, right? I mean, from the start. I was thinking to myself, what is in the mind of this candidate? What the F? I mean, how can you say this to me? How can you say this and expect for me to give you a job? The fourth thing is that you should never interrupt the interviewer when they are asking something or telling something to you. Never ever. And this is a rule of thumb. Don't speak too much during an interview. When you are asked something, just respond punctual to that question and stop. If you go off rails and if you speak a lot about yourself, you have more chances to say things that shouldn't be said in an interview. I had this candidate that had this tendency to speak a lot, but he was a good candidate in terms of skills, experience, etc. And I overlooked this fact. I mean, I was like, okay, he just speaks a lot, he's an extroverted person, etc. But when I sent him to the next round with the hiring managers, the reason that he failed the final interview with the hiring managers was he had problems with communication because he was interrupting a lot, he was speaking in the same time that the interviewers were trying to ask him things. So yeah, don't do this. Just wait for the person to speak. An interview is a conversation, right? So you have to listen to each other. If you can't have the proper skills to communicate in an interview, I can be sure that you won't have the proper skills to react or to communicate with clients, with customers, or with other people that basically are important for a company to function. Another thing, don't say stories that ended up bad for you. Never say this. Of course, you will be asked to tell stories or to tell past experiences where you failed or past experience that, I don't know, they were bad for you, stressful for you, etc. But you have to always land on top. If you choose to say a story, don't just end with the fact that you failed in that situation. Never do that. If you really failed in the real life, you need to follow up with all of the lessons that you've learned from that situation and maybe how you can apply them in future similar context that might occur in your work life. Next, when you are asked about motivation, don't say things that are not related to the company, to the industry, or to the position itself. And the motivation question can vary. They may say, what will be your dream job? Or what will be the motivation for you to apply for this job? Or what did you like about this job? Or what did you like about our company? Why do you want to work within this industry? You need to answer with things that are related to all of the things that the company stands for, with the industry that the company has their activity in, or with the responsibilities or the activities that you'll have to do within that job. I said this before, and I had some interviews lately with people that were basically applying for a job within the procurement industry, because this is the industry that my company has their activity in. And they were telling me a lot about software engineering, so the IT industry. And I was like, okay, but do you, I mean, I didn't tell them this in their face, right? But I was thinking to myself, why are you telling all of these things to me? I mean, I'm not going to send you to the next round because your motivation is lacking. I mean, yeah, you just want a job, you will have this job within procurement, and in the next occasion that you'll have to have a job within IT industry, because I understand that this is where you want to work in based on your answers, you will leave the company. So why should I hire you when your motivation is not really working within this industry? And if you are the type of person that just goes to job interviews just to experience this, maybe try to learn more of the things, they don't really care about the job, it's totally fine, you can do whatever you want. I mean, yeah, it's bad for me because you will waste my time. But yeah, it's a free world, just go and experience, it's totally fine. But if you really care about a job, don't say that your motivation for that job is something that it's really not related to all of the things that I said before. So company, industry, the job itself. Another thing that is related to this, when you're asked about the company, you can't say anything about the company because you don't have any information about the company. I'm sorry, but this is such a red flag. I believe that these are top 3 most important things that you have to prepare for the interview is read about the company. If you don't know anything about the company, this is a big, big red flag because you are telling me that you're not interested to work within this company. And yeah, I can understand, not as a recruiter, but as a human being, I can understand the fact that you don't know anything about any company that you apply, right? So you apply for 15 companies and the recruiter is calling you out of nowhere and they are asking, what do you know about so-and-so company, the one that you applied to? And you're like, lady, I applied to 10, 15 jobs. I'm sorry, but I even don't remember that I applied to your job. I can understand this. And I usually, when I call people out of nowhere, I don't ask them, what do you know about my company, right? Because they are not prepared. But when I schedule screening calls, and I ask the person, what do you know about the company? And you say nothing, or you say like random things or generic things, for me, this is a red flag from the start. I scheduled this call with you. You should have been prepared for it. I'm sorry, but this is the way that it works. I will choose to move forward with a candidate that knows a few things about the company and not with a candidate that didn't have the time to open the site and read 2 or 3 things that the company does. And the last thing, when you are asked about previous experience, don't describe things from your personal life or things from your university, middle school, primary school, etc. When you're asked about previous experiences in general, the recruiter expects from you to tell them about situations within the work environment, right? And I understand that this doesn't apply to people that apply for entry-level positions because they don't have any experience in the work field. If you are this type of person that don't have any experience in the work field, it's best to describe things from your last form of education. If this was university, undergraduate, say things about that. If this was during your master program, say things about your master program. If it was even high school, say things about high school. But don't say from primary school and middle school. I had this candidate that said this and I was like, what, how is that relevant? I mean, this was a decade ago. You change, you learn new things. When I'm asking you to describe a situation from your life and you don't have any work experience, just say things that are more recent, because this can give me an idea of the person that you are right now. For people that have work experiences, try to find a story that is within the work field. I had this candidate, he had around 20 years of experience in the work field. And I was asking him if he can give me an example of a stressful situation that he encountered at work and how he dealt with it. He starts telling me a thing from his personal life, and this was totally unrelated to anything. I understand that the skill to manage stressful situation in personal life can be transferred to work environments. But in 20 years of experience, you can say that you don't have any situation where you had a stressful encounter at work. I mean, if you can say a situation that was stressful for you at work in 20 years of experience, I can understand that you've never been stressed, so you'd never get out of your comfort zone. You never really took responsibility for hard projects. So yeah, these are mainly all of the things that I encounter the most during the interviews that I have. The thing is that I, as a professional, usually overlook all of these mistakes that the candidate have. I mean, if they do 1 or 2 mistakes of the ones that I've already said, most of the time I will get past that. But when I send them to the next round with the hiring manager and they do the same mistakes, the hiring managers won't want to work with you. And this is because the hiring managers usually are the people that will work on a daily basis with you. If you make them feel uncomfortable or you say random things or things that are not appropriate in a work environment, you will fail the final interview. Because me as a recruiter, I can see the potential. And in my head, you can learn how to communicate in a work environment after a few weeks of being there. But the hiring managers don't want a problematic person or a person that can communicate in a professional way from the start, because they will work with you on a daily basis and they don't want this headache. I mean, it's true. It's fair for me to say this because maybe this can help you understand why you failed the final round. I just want you to know from the start, these are the expectations of every company and every recruitment process that you're going to take part of. So if you really want a job, don't do any of the mistakes that I said before. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want more videos about this type of subjects, just let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you like it, of course. See you guys next time. Bye!